Hey guys, Edge-dono here. There's been some working around the channel and I've been a little missing. I'll explain this in another video. But for now, I want to talk to y'all about something. It's something other people call one thing, I call it something else entirely. I call them gamble boxes. Now, I'm aware other people call them loot boxes. But they're gamble boxes, and I'm going to explain about this topic. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because of recent statements by ESRB and PEGI. So, I'll start with PEGI, because PEGI is... Oh, there's no forgiving what PEGI said. So, it's not up to us to define the term gambling. Maybe they're talking about their company in particular, but the human language, whatever language you're speaking, is defined by the humans who speak it. So the English language gets defined by the English language speakers, which is what? Over 70% of the world now, I think? Maybe not that high, maybe higher. Oh, forgive the hat, my hair is a mess. I hate having hair. Anyways, moving on to back to the topic. I just realized I'm wearing my hat. As I said, English is defined by English speakers. So, it's not up to PEGI to define what gambling is. It's up to us. And I've misplaced my phone, but I'm going to look up the term of gambling. I don't need my phone to do that. I can do it here. Okay, so gambling. Gambling is a verb. Or gamble. Verb. 1. Play games of chance for money. To bet. Or 2. Take a risky action in the hope of a desired result. Okay. So, PEGI says it's not up to them. Well, then it's up to everyone who speaks English to define what gambling is. And that second definition really seems to be quite accurate. Take a risky action, which spending money on a random thing in the hope of a desired result. So let's use Overwatch. I'm spending my money to buy 10 loot boxes in the hope of getting one of these new Halloween skins. That's me taking a risky action. I'm spending money and not getting any physical return trying to get skins. So right there, it is defined as gambling. If you want to say spending money is risky, and I do believe it is. Now, I don't have money flowing out of my ears. I don't even have money spilling out of my pockets, sadly. Not even my socks. I have so little money, it doesn't even come up to my socks, man. So, that's that there. And, okay, play games for a chance of money. So that's why it's not the first definition. And this is ESRB's take. We don't believe it's gambling, because you're not making money. And I'm going to come on to that one, but I'm addressing PEGI. PEGI, you're an idiot. Look at the definition. And I don't know who we have to petition to change the definition of it, but if we just start calling loot boxes gamble boxes and only referring to it as gambling, then it will become gambling. So no longer are they loot boxes, gamble boxes. Everybody call them gamble boxes, please. Because that's what they are. ESRB, you can't consider it gambling because we're not making money. Well, as I just demonstrated, it fits the second definition. It is gambling. Have you ever seen a movie where the hero has to save the damsel? He's got one bullet left in his gun and the guy says drop the gun, and like you might hear the inner monologue of his mind, and it's like, I'm gonna take a gamble on this. He drops his gun and he kicks it, the villain jerks, and then the hero runs up and just punches the villain out, but the villain's not knocked out. He just punches the villain so the gun flies, and only the hero's gun is left, and they make a scramble for it. He grabs it and he shoots the villain. He made a gamble. But there was no monetary reward there. But he made a gamble. Yes, loot boxes, gamble boxes, I'm sorry, I gotta get used to calling it that myself, are gambling. Now, they also release the same endorphins that I would have if I'm playing slots. I'm an adult. I can go to the casino. I've been once, twice, like 3 times, and I've played slots. I'm not one for random chance. I like to have the odds in my hands, which is why I try and stay away from casinos. So knowing that, I don't really participate in the gamble boxes. That it's not what I want to do. I don't want to play slots at a casino. I don't want to. It's always rigged in the house's favor at a casino, so I don't want to play anything at the casino. But I'm going to play 21 over something else, you know? So yeah. Slots, gambling, loot boxes, gamble boxes, gambling. You're taking a risk for a reward. Now, I want to look at something else. I want to look at the most recent case of controversy for gamble boxes, which was Shadow of War. And people are still excusing it because it's optional. Saying, oh hey, you don't need to use it to get through the Shadow Wars, the Act 4, the optional, to get the true ending, which, for me as a completionist gamer, the true ending is not optional. The true ending is mandatory. So don't tell me that that's optional. For me, it is not, and I'm sure other people do think a true ending is mandatory. Sorry. So, why am I bringing up Shadow of War? Because everyone's saying, well, you don't have to buy them, you have this insane grind. So people are saying in the Shadow Wars Act, Act 4, it can take upwards of 50 hours. Now, I've heard low 30, high 50. So I'm going to lowball and say 20 hours to 50 hours, 35 hours average to complete Shadow Wars. And this is people not doing loot boxes, gamble boxes. I really need to get used to saying what I want it to be called, gamble boxes. Now, about that, it gets a little more in depth because people are excusing it because, well, you could just do the grind. What's wrong with the grind? Back in the day, the grind was no issue. Back in the day, the grind was not created to make people consider the loot boxes. And you're an idiot if you think this is not what's happening. It's obvious. With the whole game being completely bearable with 0 loot boxes, even though it's in your face on the pause screen or the market, whatever. I haven't played the game, I boycott it. I love Shadow of Mordor and I boycotted Shadow of War. There's no point. No one should buy that game. So in Shadow Wars, so once you hit Shadow Wars and you haven't had to buy a single loot box because the game doesn't even think you need to, and you hit the optional content for the true ending, don't call it the super secret ending, it's the true ending. And that's what it is. So don't mask it behind these buzz super secret words, which make people think it's like not even relevant. It's the true ending of the game, guys. So, yeah. And then the grind becomes extremely huge once you hit that act. Bearable to no grind. Okay, so bearable to no grind, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Huge grind. Hold up. There we go. Huge grind. Now, so what that tells me is that they don't want you buying loot boxes for the initial bit, but then when they mask the true ending around optional content, they force the grind upon you. Or they put the huge grind there. They force it in. It's like, alright, so you beat the game. If you want the true ending, time to do this content. And we're going to call it optional, but true ending. And I'm harping on this huge because it's important. So you have to go through all that. And you do. And you grind out your, say, 35 average hours. And you finish it and say, wow, that took me forever. Now let's look at someone else who, unlike me, who doesn't even have enough money to reach their ankle. They have money coming out of the top of their head. They're, hey, this grind is boring. And let's even say they're older than me. I'm old enough to have played games that were grindy to mask length, and I'm actually going to make a topic about that. But, so, and they're like, hey, this grind is boring. I want to pay some money and speed it up. The only reason they considered the loot boxes is because of how grindy that experience was. The grind was implemented late in the game, masking the true ending to make people consider these gamble boxes. I don't know how many times I called them loot boxes. I'm really upset. If you can't tell, I am. So ESRB, actually look at the definition of gambling before you fucking talk, because you showed your ignorance. And PEGI, you're from a place that turned words' meanings into other stuff. Like, you're from a place that defended what I said, where it's up to the English language speakers of changing definitions of words. There are numerous words that meant harmless things, like a bundle of sticks meant to be used for firewood, in essence tinder, but it was a completely different word. And now that word is a very offensive term to gay people. I really don't want to say the word because of the controversy it can have. But I'm sure people know what word I'm talking about. PEGI, shut up. ESRB, shut up. I don't think they actually believe what they said. I think they got money coming to their pockets from big name publishers for video games. That's what it is. That's my conspiratory mind working its magic. But yeah, that's the only thing I can believe. Now, this topic's dragged on much longer than I wanted it to. I'm at 12 minutes, so I apologize that you've been having to sit here and hear me rant for 12 minutes. This has been Edge-dono. I'm still part of HSG. I'll explain this in another video, all the stuff that's happened. And yeah, this is Edge-dono. I wish you all wonderful days, nights, whatnot, rest of lives. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.